We'll be like superheroes with our walkers.
To be honest, I've never been a very superhero-y.
I'm looking at all these studios like, when are you going to make that happen?
I think all will be revealed, is what I could say.
And the comic book is a great resource, but it can't be you trying to do the comic book.
It speaks so perfectly to the characters and who they are.
What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here with a special video previewing The Old Guard, a not-so-little comic book movie coming to Netflix on July 10th, which I had the chance to talk with the cast and crew about ahead of its release, which is awesome because talking to super famous, talented people is fun, even if it's through a webcam. The Old Guard is based on a comic book by the same title, written by Greg Rucka with art by Leandro Fernandez. If the name Greg Rucka sounds familiar, you probably have good taste. His popular work includes characters like Cyclops, Wolverine, Wonder Woman, and titles like Detective Comics, but also some casual comic fans might not be familiar with others like Queen and Country or Stumptown. And then there's my personal favorite of Rucka's, Lazarus, which should also be getting an adaptation soon. But this video is about The Old Guard, a mini-series which very quickly sold its film rights to Skydance after it published its first issue in February of 2017, and then went on to sign Charlize Theron for the lead role.
The first big ball for me was going from screenplay to Skydance saying, we're gonna make this movie. And I said, you are? I didn't think you would, really. And they said, oh no, we've got a list of directors here, meet Gina. The process of getting to the casting was its own thing. To then get the call saying Charlize is going to play Andy was, I've said earlier, do we have any champagne? We need to open champagne. When Oscar-winning actress Charlize Theron, known to nerds everywhere as Furiosa, says that, yes, Andy, I'll do that. You don't look that gift horse in any part of the anatomy. You go, great, I'll sit here and watch.
Knowing the source material might enhance your viewing experience if you're anything like me and want to know what to expect and be able to compare the two, but the book can be hard to find these days, so we've got a crash course of everything you need to know. The Old Guard follows a group of immortal soldiers and mercenaries who have been alive and fighting for various amounts of time, some just a few dozen years, some a few thousand years. Think of it like Deadpool, but with a lot more desire to shut up and get the job done. Fun fact, the Old Guard artist Leandro Fernandez has worked on Deadpool books with X-Men Origins Deadpool's first issue. The Old Guard started as a 5-issue miniseries, but like all popular titles, it got a sequel in the form of The Old Guard Force Multiplied, which has a new issue publishing just 5 days after the movie hits Netflix. Solid marketing plan. So in these books, the group is led by Andromache of Scythia, aka Andy, because nobody wants to say that full name all the time, but it also goes to show just how old she is. They are essentially mercenaries for hire who just can't die until they can, and try to keep their immortality a secret the whole time. In fact, the Old Guard director Gina Prince Bythewood, who you may know from her work on Love and Basketball or the pilot episode of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, knows exactly what is most important when adapting a comic book to a movie.
The most important thing is that Greg Rucka's work is represented on screen. Like, that's it. I fell in love with the script, and as soon as I finished reading it, I hadn't been familiar with the comic, so I went to read the comic, fell in love with it all over again. I love his brain. I love his female characters. They just feel different, and I love the story that he created. The fact that these characters are immortal, mostly, I thought was just a brilliant conceit. So for me, his graphic novel was my Bible, absolutely, and I wanted to stay true to it. Obviously, things do need to be shifted a bit in terms of making an adaptation and the jump to the big screen, but I needed the characters to be there. I needed the heart, the story, the themes to all be there.
Now let's talk about the cast of this movie because it is a great ensemble. At the front of it, we have Charlize Theron as Andy, and she's bringing every bit of that atomic blonde energy, but she's also just a little tired of it all because being thousands of years old might do that to you. She's the leader of the group, but you may not call her the heart of the group. At the heart, we have Marwan Kenzari, who you may know as Jafar from the Aladdin remake, and Luca Marinelli. These two play Yusuf and Nikki, mercenaries who happen to be in love with each other and want to continue making the world a better place. Easier said than done.
We killed each other many times.
Matthias Schoenaerts rounds out the group as Booker, a character who resembles his comic book counterpart quite well thanks to additional input from the actor himself.
No, there was a very specific scene that was in a comic book that at some point was in the screenplay and all of a sudden, just in a new version, a new draft, disappeared. And I got like freaky about it. I'm like, no. We need that scene back in. I'm not gonna spoil it right now, but we need that scene back in because that to me was the core of the journey of Booker. And I thought if we lose that, it kind of annihilates or neutralizes or flattens the entire story. And it's crazy because one scene can either amplify everything, and the absence of that scene can just flatten everything.
Am I the only one who thinks it's cool when actors want the comic book to come to life? Joining the group is Kiki Lane as Niall Freeman, a young human character who quickly finds out she's immortal, and finding out you're immortal happens exactly how you think, by dying over and over again. That was your first guess, right? The film also stars Chiwetel Ejiofor as a character named Copley, one who finds himself in a little bit of a gray area between the good guys and the bad guys. Comic book fans will be quick to recognize Ejiofor from his work as Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange, and he spends a good bit of time in the movie with Harry Melling, who played none other than Dudley Dursley in the Harry Potter franchise.
Daddy's gone mad, hasn't he?
If you thought I didn't bring up both of these roles to those actors while talking to them, you are so wrong. How did the two experiences compare with Marvel and now doing an Image comic book with Netflix? How did those compare for you?
Well, they're all great. They've all been really good. They're very different. This is very different to Doctor Strange, obviously, and the kind of Marvel universe. These are people who don't celebrate their gifts at all. That actually their immortality they carry as a kind of burden.
What's this? My mantra? The Wi-Fi password.
It's almost as if your Dudley character from Harry Potter went to university, and this is what he would have evolved into if you think about it. Do you feel like maybe this is kind of, you've been training your whole life for this villain?
Well, I hope not. I mean, hey, it could be. I mean, he certainly did a lot of, certainly must have done a lot of science at university. But yeah, I mean, it's always fun to play these eccentric characters.
Heading into the Old Guard, you'll quickly see that being immortal doesn't solve all of your problems. Like, imagine how many iPhone generations you're gonna have to live through. But also, sometimes you find yourself fighting on an airplane and the set comes to life.
That was really moving.
Yeah, we started the movie off with that too,
Yeah.
so that was pretty intense. But both of us walked onto the set that day, and there was just this giant plane that was on hydraulics in the air, and so it was as real as you could get to the actual feeling of fighting in the air.
And there's a whole lot more action to be had in The Old Guard, a movie I would suggest checking out, A, because the movie theaters are closed and you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, and B, because it's actually pretty good. If you have any questions or want to talk more, drop your thoughts in the comments section or send them my way on Instagram at BrandonDavisBD. For more, head over to Comicbook.com/movies. I'm BD. I'll see you there.